It's Friday, September 27th, just following up on the SPY I discussed on the first video. This is the 5-minute chart, by the way, how I use this chart to kind of buy some puts here at this red line and how I expected it to potentially head lower because a bunch of things were coinciding at the same time. Obviously, we moved down now. The options, I bought the 580 puts at 745. You can see they're asking 880 right now. So they've moved up, nicely, and we'll see if it continues lower here. What was developing here, the 15-minute chart, which is my always my intraday structure chart, we gapped up like many of the other previous days. We've been gapping up and then, selling off a little bit, but, that becomes tricky. In terms of today, the immediate move was more of a red to green move out of the gate. So you could have bought bar 3 here, expecting that high to be, with the uptrend in place, and red to green move above the midpoint of the prior day, expecting to take out the first bar high, the pre-market highs. And that's what price did. And then it kind of paused here, and that's where I was watching it real closely. A lot of stocks were negative today. It's a mixed market. It's Friday. So I wanted to see if we just hold here and continue up or what might unfold. And what kind of developed all at the same time is on the 5-minute chart, you had a 2 up, 2 down here on this 5-minute. And I was watching this area closely because it was a bigger picture inflection point. So I bought the puts here because on that 2 down 5-minute bar, that triggered the inside bar, on the 15-minute chart to have a 2 down, and then that target was to right here, and that target here on the 15-minute chart also coincided with the way I look at the first bar on the 15-minute chart, which would be getting to the midpoint of that bar. And once we got to the midpoint of that bar, then I could see us coming all the way down to take out the lows. So it was a big pinball effect: 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, and then my structure taking out the midpoint of the first bar to get to the lows of the day. And that's what happened. And now obviously we're following through. So we're going to find out at this point, on an inside day here, do we stay red? Do we just chop around? This has been tricky. We've had an upward trend here overall, obviously, in this market, but the last 3 days are kind of closing red each time, and now we're on Friday where we end the week, and that becomes kind of important to judge what happens into next week. So we have green bars heading up, but this looks to be, the momentum looks to be narrowing. We'll see today. Who knows if we end up with a shooter bar or not, or do we stay green? If we end up with an inside bar on Friday, then that will be interesting on, into next week. Do we fail on an inside bar, either down or up? We'll kind of get into that. And maybe we go a lot lower today and have a 2 down day and really close with a shooter bar on the weekly chart. I don't know. I don't suspect that. I think it's just a choppy environment at the end of a week. It's been very choppy here as we kind of grind our way higher. So even yesterday we came down and moved up a little bit by the end of the day. Who knows what's going to happen today? But given this opening price action, it's a good example to me of how sometimes, my way I view intraday structure, in addition to some of the strat signals and how some of the time frames all came together to kind of give you a high probability move a little bit lower, and that's what we got here. So good trade, if you wanted to take it, but it's still a tricky environment, very mixed market here at the moment, and I don't have any strong conviction about where it goes next. I just kind of have to judge price action, day by day and 15-minute bar by 15-minute bar, and that's kind of the environment I'm in now. Eventually, this weekly chart might turn down, have a 2 down week, and then start projecting there, and it'll become easier to get some directional trades going because we're a little exhaustion rates on the upside, so that's why the momentum's tricky on the upside, and we haven't yet really failed yet on the downside. So it's kind of choppy price action. You kind of know that context, and that's why I'm trying to judging, very nimbly the 15-minute chart and what it's doing intraday in this environment. But hopefully soon you'll get some strong directional moves, that are typical once the market, decides to either, continue strongly with momentum to the upside or fail back to the downside. So, but for now, it's just kind of a choppy environment. But I thought, again, there was an opportunity to play the downside here a little bit here in the morning. So we'll see how it ends the day and how it ends the week.